It's not an easy thing. It's not easy at all to stay disciplined. It's really a constant battle. And one of the main things I've learned is just how you get to know yourself on a personal and a spiritual level when you're really trying to stay disciplined. Because the voices in your head get really loud, and you really have to listen to what you're telling yourself and why you're telling yourself those things. For me now, I'm just trying to get back in shape, get my diet back to a good place, especially after holidays. For the most part, like, I'm always good during the year, but then once I hit holiday season, I just go crazy. I just lose it all because there's so much that happens, so many birthdays, so many get-togethers that it's just hard for me, at least, to just stay. It's hard to just stay consistent when you have a cheat day every couple of days. I pretty much just let myself do whatever during the holidays, and now I'm just trying to get back into that rhythm. And I can hear myself, like, when I want to eat something, it's like that voice in my head just telling me, like, man, like, I really want this, or that would be so good right now, or it won't hurt. Like, you could just eat this, and then tomorrow you could do, like, no. You just have to keep reminding yourself. And I listen to so many, like, podcasts or self-help things and this and that, and so it's like in that moment I might feel motivated to, like, do the right thing, and I have all these techniques and all these tricks and all of this, but it's really like none of that matters, because once you get to that moment where you have to make the right decision, it's hard. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard. But, like, one thing I've learned, there's a time in my life where I lost about 70 pounds, 60 to 70 pounds in a year. And one of the things that helped the most was just knowing what's on the other side of the discipline, which is everything that you want, but also breaking it down and just breaking that goal down. So it's not, my goal wasn't to lose 70 pounds. My goal was to just eat right every meal. And when you break it down, it gets easier, because it's not, a lot of people talk about how, like, it's about what you do every day, or make the most of the day, or, every day matters. But it's really, every decision matters. Every choice that you make matters. That can make it easier for you, or that can make it harder if you just think about the amount of choices that you have in a day. But that's the truth. It's every decision. Every decision you make that's right, though, it's like you're just getting stronger. You're building momentum. You're gaining power, and it just gets so much easier to say no to the things that aren't good for you when you made a habit of saying yes to all the things that are good for you. So it's like, today I'm going to eat, and I told myself, like, all right, I'm just eating good, no sugar, right? But that's hard to do when I just had a weekend full of eating sugar. You get that craving. You start the day off doing right. Like, okay, yes, did the right thing. I drank this, had my smoothie. I had my fruits. I did everything. But then it's time to eat that first meal, and that's when those thoughts start creeping in. You did good earlier, so you can slack off. And I just have to constantly tell myself, like, one, I'm stronger than the flesh. Like, the mind is so much stronger, and if I sit here and make the decision to do the right thing, then I'm gonna do the right thing. And then afterwards, you always feel so much better about yourself anyway. That's the other part of it. Making bad decisions that people don't really talk about is the regret that comes with it. Especially when there's a goal that you want to get to. And every day that you make a decision that sets yourself back, it's like you're just stepping on your dreams, like your soul, you just feel it in your soul, it hurts, right? But then when you do the right thing, you start seeing results. It's like certain things in life start happening. It's like, oh, you're finally walking that path that you were destined to walk. But that only happens when you make the right decision. The decisions that you make is like that, the part of manifesting that nobody talks about. Everybody talks about the thought process or writing it down. Or it finally made sense to me after 30 years. I'm 31 now, but it finally made sense to me of what people mean when they talk about, like, you have to act as if you are before you can have. So it's like, if I want to get back in shape, I have to eat like a person who is in shape. Or let's say you want to be a YouTuber, like the YouTuber who makes that money, you have to act as if you're them. And think about how much work they put in, how much time they put into it. If you want to be an NBA player, you don't start training like an NBA player once you make it to the NBA. You're not going to make it to the NBA doing that. You got to train as if you are in the NBA. And then that's how you get to the NBA. Like, once you act as if you are something, then you attract everything that comes with that. So someone who wakes up and runs every day is going to attract the things that people who wake up and run every day attract. If you study every day, you're going to attract the things of people who study every day. But you have to get to the point of action. Like, you have to be taking the action that person would take. You can't just sit and think about it all day, or watch videos about it all day and have all these cool ideas and techniques and all these things you want to try, but you're not trying it. Discipline is staying strong, but it's also just about taking action. And if you're not taking that action, it's going to be real hard. It's going to be very, very hard to be successful. Another area in my life is just planning. I feel like this is the first year in a while that I've given myself like a clear plan. The last time I gave myself a clear plan on something, I ended up getting a platinum record, and that was, I told myself, hey, I'm going to make beats and I'm going to post a video on YouTube every single day. 7-8 months in, I had a song that blew up. A year later, I'm a platinum producer, and I feel like this is the first time since then that I've had a clear plan on exactly what I'm going to do and exactly how I'm going to try to get there. It's so crazy how you can have a thought and take action and actually bring it to fruition. That's still so insane to me, that you can just think about something, decide you want to do it, and then reap all the benefits from doing it. Just get everything you wanted. It's such a crazy concept to think about, but that's really how life works. And there's so much proof from that, right? It's like you watch all these videos about how to do this, how to do that. And it's really just a bunch of people telling you, like explaining to you, listen, I had an idea, I made a plan, I followed that plan, and it happened. Because if you listen to people who are successful, every single person has a different story. There's no one way to do something. Like everybody just did what was right for them. That's another thing. I feel like I used to try to always copy what other people did instead of taking the message behind, what everybody's saying, which is you have to do what's right for your situation. So it's like what works for somebody won't work for everybody, except for the main principle, which is consistency and discipline. Like those are true things, and just being relentless to your goals. But the actual steps is going to be different for everybody, because everyone's starting from a different place. Everybody has different resources. Everybody has, different genre of goals. But it's like, if you're someone who struggles with planning, then like you shouldn't just wake up and just start working on random things. Like the main thing you need to work on in your life is writing things down. And once you begin to write things down, that's when you'll start to see change. If you're somebody who plans a lot already, but let's say your issue is procrastination, like you just over plan. For that person, taking more time to sit and write, like that's not going to change anything. Taking more time to sit and write because they saw a video of somebody saying, hey, you should sit and write. You have to audit your life, see what's working, see what's not working. How can you do more of what's working? How can you change what isn't working? But you have to be like intentional about that too. You ever had like a friend that tells you, hey man, I'm just struggling with this, and you can just look at them from a third person and tell them exactly what needs to happen, because you just see it differently. Same things with yourself. You have to be able to take that approach with yourself, especially when you know how well you know yourself. You could tell somebody else, you can give somebody else advice that probably would work for them. It would be great advice for them if they applied it, and that's without even really knowing them. Like, you know all your thoughts, you know all your insecurities, you know all your fears. So like, if there's anyone who could give you advice, it's you. But you have to listen, be disciplined enough to make those changes, and consistent enough to see the results. Every situation you're in, like there's something you're supposed to learn, there's answer to get out of that situation, there's a change you're supposed to make, and then once you make that change, the situation changes, right? So once you learn that lesson, okay, cool, what's the next lesson? And that's the thing in life, there's always something. So if you're shying away from learning that lesson, it's going to be a long life. It's going to be a long life. Like the key to happiness is solving problems. The key to solving problems is being disciplined, auditing your life, staying consistent, being happy about doing the right thing, being happy about following the steps and the plan that you wrote out.